Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuzz here. In today's video, I'm going to touch on something I've noticed over the past few months. Well, basically since the new year, and that is RuneScape 3 losing a lot of players. We're going to talk about why I think this is happening, what we can expect in the future, and also I'm going to give you some opinions on the recent updates or lack thereof. If you like RuneScape 3 content like this, consider subscribing because 70% of you actually aren't subscribed, which always blows my mind that so many of you watch. So thanks for all the support. We're about to hit 25k subs, which is absolutely crazy. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So the day is March 4th, and it's no secret that the last 2 years provided some of the best updates on RuneScape in many years. But we're a few days into March, and a lot of players actually haven't been playing as much as they used to. Before, a lot of players were actually brought into the game. For instance, the whole reason I started making videos on YouTube was because Archaeology was released right as the pandemic hit, and it brought a huge influx of players into the game and saw RuneScape hit massive player counts, and most people were coming back to check out such a big update because Archaeology was basically the first new skill in quite a while, and it was a huge and very well done skill with a ton of different content. Without Archaeology, I probably would not have made my YouTube channel, so it's kind of just crazy to think about how different things could be based on one update. But we ended that year also with Raksha, which was a very exciting boss, at least for me. It had new and overpowered abilities, and it was something that I camped for quite a while. After this, in 2021, we had even more updates with the release of Elder God Wars, bringing us a huge update with a new boss, a new area, items every single month, and to further that, we then had the Golden Party Hat event, which also ended up bringing back a lot of old players with the opportunity to get a Golden Party Hat. I saw a ton of people coming back to the game, even people from old school RuneScape coming in just to get that party hat. I know InItYah made a video about the massive player count back then, and that was only 3 or 4 short months ago. And while there definitely were some alternative accounts during this, the player count was by no means all just alternative accounts, as most RuneScape YouTubers like myself and friends that I've talked to saw massive spikes in our views and the overall interest in RuneScape 3 on YouTube during this time. We can see the viewers returning to see our videos, and it's a pretty good indication whether the interest in playing and watching people play RuneScape 3 is there. But as the start of the new year, and especially during the past few weeks, things seem to be going down a bit for RuneScape 3, and RuneScape 3 has been losing players and losing interest in the game. It just seems to be going on a downhill trend during this period. Of course, the main thing is we haven't had too many updates, and we're kind of in a dry spell. We did have Head's Oasis, which was released, which was an update that, you know, at the start I was a little excited for, but it ended up being kind of just like you go there for like a week and then, you know, there wasn't really too much to build on. And then we had the Abyssal Creatures recently, and honestly, I thought more people would be excited for these updates than they actually were. So for instance, here's some polls I did. So when Zuck was released, I ran a poll, and 60% of you were super excited for Zuck to come out, and 20% of you thought Zuck was alright, and only 20% of you weren't excited or wished Zuck was something else. So in a stark contrast, when I recently did a poll after the Abyssal Creatures came out, 71% of people weren't interacting with the content either because they didn't care or didn't have high enough stats, but it seemed like most people just didn't care about the Abyssal Creatures. So with the Elder God Wars, most updates, when I polled them, had 70% or more of people trying the new boss or being excited for the new content, but the recent updates, including Head's Oasis and Abyssal Creatures, had way less interest from you guys. Now, of course, these aren't bosses, but Jagex is releasing things that aren't really that exciting for players like they were before. So we're almost 3 months into 2022, and so far we haven't had much big updates to write home about. Although this will surely change, I'd guess and hope that Jagex plans to ramp up these updates during the rest of the year, including possibly a new Elder God Wars 5th boss, and hopefully some more and exciting things. I'd be hopeful that this would change, but what else could be causing the player count to drop other than just updates? Well, there's something very interesting. So if we look at the Steam charts for RuneScape, RuneScape saw a 24% loss since the start of the new year. Now, while only a small fraction of the player base actually plays on Steam, it is still relative data that can tell us the state of players going in and out of the game and what it looks like. But something I've come to consider is the lack of interest in RuneScape 3 or the declining players the past few months could be because of everything not related to actually RuneScape 3. So for instance, RuneScape 3 players currently play a ton of different games based on the polls I've conducted, and a lot of you tend to play other MMOs. Well, Lost Ark was actually released in February, and it currently has a 872k player peak and had over 1.3 million players during launch. And then just 1 month later, Elden Ring has been released, a highly anticipated game that came out, and it currently has over 800k people playing on Steam. And I've had tons of comments on my polls and videos saying that you guys were either playing Lost Ark or Elden Ring. Also, another factor we have to consider is the pandemic has slowed down quite a bit. More places are starting to normalize life, at least the best we can, which I'm sure also has a bit to do with this. Maybe less people are just playing games in general. I think it's all these factors probably put together. Not only is RuneScape 3 going through a dry spell in worthwhile updates, but we had two amazing, huge releases in the similar genre as RuneScape that just came out, taking up many more players. I've seen tons of even RuneScape 3 creators talking about Elden Ring and Lost Ark with no mention of RuneScape 3, and that's to be expected. They are honestly great games that I'm looking forward to trying as well. I really hope that Jagex plans to ramp up the updates soon and at least maybe tease us some big updates that are coming, because even if we don't get the updates right now, we can at least get excited and have that anticipation for the updates to come. I honestly think we were very spoiled last year in a way with the Elder God Wars, because we basically had 4 entirely new bosses, new areas, new gear, all kinds of new stuff to interact with, try out, kill, all in like a span of like 4 or 5 months. Then after that we had the Golden Party Hat, which kind of ramped up the intrigue for the game again. Now, am I worried about RuneScape 3 and its future based on this? Well, honestly, I'm not too worried, because in a poll I conducted recently where I asked you guys how you played RuneScape specifically for this video, most of you said that you would play for a few months, take a break for a few months, and then come back. And honestly, this is how I used to play a lot too. Most people come in and play RuneScape 3 and grind for hours and hours and days when big new updates come in and they have a ton of fun, and then they might fizzle out, take a break for a month or two while either AFKing on their account or just playing other games and wait for new things to come out or until they feel that urge to play again. This has always kind of been how it was with RuneScape for many years, and most people always come back. We will always have small dry spells, but I'm trying to be optimistic that newer and more exciting updates that will bring players to the game will be there. Another problem that we could encounter is bringing newer players into the game. We do have a lot of players that currently play, and bringing them back is important, but bringing new players to the game is also very important, and honestly, we don't have too good of a new player experience. I mean, new players don't have that great of an experience when starting out on RuneScape 3. It's very overwhelming at times. The interface is everything. I know this has been talked about a lot, but that is another reason that I think Jagex needs to work on, is trying to bring new players into the game as well. I do think though the players will come back as new, more and exciting updates come out. Now my question to you is, have you been playing RuneScape 3 much recently, or are you waiting for more updates, or maybe even trying out new games? Let me know below. I know a lot of you have left comments about different games you were playing and stuff like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It's something I've had in the works for a while. It's something that I was thinking about, but I just wanted to wait and see if maybe the player count would rebound, but it seems to have steadily been going down, so I thought I'd make it now. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. What's your opinion on all this, and I'll see you all in the next video.